Alright guys, here's another under the hood. I got two left. This is my Gen 1 Traxxas T-Maxx. As you can see, it doesn't look like it's stock anymore. Aftermarket wheels, bumpers, body, arms. I've put updated shocks on it. They're still the stock shocks. They actually came off of the E-Max. I switched them because this had the big bores. Anyways, start with the body. It's a Proline Dodge Ram body. This particular one is actually discontinued because with this being the Gen 1 T-Maxx, it's actually shorter wheelbase, and so the body itself was shorter so that it would actually fit and go with the bumpers. So this body is discontinued, unfortunately. They do have other Dodge Ram bodies if you guys do like Dodge like I do, so it's all good. So anyways, it's just your traditional black. Did a little bit of silver accenting on it. I actually have not ran this body on the truck just because it looks so nice, and the fact that T-Maxxes or Maxxes in general seem like they beat the snot out of bodies, and I've already destroyed two of them, the original bodies anyways, and I'm really not wanting to do that with this one since it's just such a nice body. But anyways, on to the truck. So under the hood, this is still the Pro 15 powered Traxxas engine. It's actually original head case, crankcase that came in the truck originally. I have replaced the piston sleeve and conrod inside. I had tried to take the muffler header and flip it so the pipe came off this way, and in a wreck the header wound up getting bent, so that didn't work, so I went back to being stock. I have put a 2.5 muffler on it just because it's a single piece instead of the two piece, so it eliminated a lot of the issues, and I didn't really see any kind of performance really change, just the fact that it's a single piece now instead of two pieces that I had to fight and deal with. Let's see, still have a little bit of fuel in it. I actually broke the inlet nipple, that's what it's called, the inlet off the high-speed needle, so that's why that's not attached. As you can see, I do not have the easy start in here. I have actually upgraded to a shaft drive shaft drive that goes right down in there, directly on the back of the engine, and that works with this shaft. It has kind of a specific ball end, and you just put it into a drill. This is just a normal 12 volt Craftsman drill, is all it is, and put it in just like that, and then you can start. So it reduces weight, gets the easy start off of there, so you do have to use a separate glow plug heater for it, but to me that was no big deal. That was fine. I wound up getting a whole bunch in some trades for with another RC car, actually the Bat Revo. Anyways, back to the truck. Still has stock gearing in it, stock gears in the transmission. I have taken it apart, cleaned, and re-greased, and they actually still looked really, really good. I actually originally, before I changed the piston sleeve and conrod, I had actually put over 10 gallons of fuel through this thing, and it ran for it. It does have that Pro 15 difficulty in tuning in that, but it's still a fun truck. It's a 17-year-old truck now, so it's okay if it shows its age some. I have upgraded the throttle and brake and the steering servos. Throttle and brake servo, it's about 130 to 150 ounce per inch torque, so it will stop on a dime, other than the fact the tires are so old. These are actually the original tires that came with it, and so they are old and very, very hard, so they will slide quite fun. It actually makes it good for drifting, actually. Drifting monster truck. I might do a video of that. I don't know. Anyways, so 150 or so ounce per inch throttle brake servo, 200 ounce per inch steering servo. I know there are higher ones, but I was actually trying to keep this truck closer to what originally stock was. But 200 ounce gives me a decent amount of steering with it, so I went with that. And there goes my scale. Yes, you are seeing that the front track and the rear track are different widths. Put that on there so it stops leaking on me. There we go. Okay, yes, the front track and rear track are two different widths. The front track is actually what the original Pro 15 track width was. And so that's what these arms were from. The rear arms are the true track, so there's no links in here like what was on the front of the E-Maxx. I have the same true track system on the E-Maxx and my Bat Revo as well. Like I've said before, I love RPM stuff. Anyways, and so the true track, it was for the 2.5 and newer versions, which were wider. So that's why it has that offset the way that it does. That's not the tires. But, oh well, I think it looks kind of neat. It helps it to be a little bit more stable. I can actually take a corner almost full throttle, or full throttle with this thing without rolling over. It tends to slide more than it wants to try to roll. So that's fine with me. I don't complain about that. So let's see. Do have the RPM chrome bumpers on this one. This was actually going to be kind of a vaguely what I'd want my real life dream truck to be, with it being the Dodge Ram, having the chrome bumpers and that on it. I wish I could still find these wheels in real life. They were an older design, and I wish I could find them again because I absolutely love this style of wheel. These are actually the StableMax wheels, so they have, excuse me, more of an offset than what the stock ones do. This truck actually has an almost square footprint, so the tires are almost as wide as they are far apart this way. So it makes it extremely stable, and it handles extremely well because of that. So I like it. I love it. So moving around, I did put the updated fuel tank into it, so there is no more primer button on here. Just prime off holding the exhaust tip and do it that way. Let's see what else. I put a associated SC10, or I'm sorry, an associated RC10 GT air cleaner on here, just because my neighbor 15 plus years ago, 20 plus years ago, he had RC10 GT, and I liked the way that this filter looked, and through testing I found that it worked really, really well. It breathed really, really easy, and with being dual element, it made it so that it did an exceptional job of filtering. So I went ahead and got one and put it on here, and I ran it on here for 10 plus years. So anyways, let's flip her over. So on the bottom, you are seeing aluminum. Aluminum front and rear skid plate and center skid plate. So it has the aluminum chassis and then the aluminum skid plates as well. So it is, I like to think, a beefy setup. I'm still running stock bulkheads in it, but with this being, this one's more of a shelf queen just because of how old it is. I rarely ever run this, maybe once a year, if that. That's just to make sure it's still running. But anyways, I did that so that it would basically have 2 layers of aluminum on it, basically to reinforce the chassis. And I think it helped to stiffen it up a decent amount. You can see there are some marks on the chassis, on the skid plate, so I have ran it. It's not always a shelf queen, but I have ran it some. But overall, though, for the most, I've tried to keep it relatively kind of stock, at least chassis wise. I did put the Futaba 4 PLS radio system in here, and so it is controlling the throttle, brake, steering, and reverse. And I can show that to you. And so it does pretty good. I generally don't buy expensive servos. These servos were average of $10 or less, and they are Metal Gear, so that's what I run. I haven't had any luck. I've only had luck with the Savox servos that I put into Little Digger, and those were $70 500 ounce per inch servos. Because this is a Shelf Queen, I'm not going to put that good a servo into this thing unless I can find it for an incredibly good deal. I'd rather put super servos like that into the Revo and the Emax before putting them into this, just because this is more of a Shelf Queen. But it does function. The 3-speed, that's for reverse there. So it is full functioning, ready to go. I can, if I wanted to, I could fire it up. I did actually have it running a little bit earlier today, but as with the Pro 15s, or at least in my experience with them, they don't like to hold a tune, and so it didn't want to run very well. But anyways, put a little bit of badging underneath the body, since I like RPM and that, and I don't mind showing off that I like them. They have good stuff. I haven't had any breakages with them, even with older stuff that I have put into here. Something I should mention, I did actually update this with the bulkhead braces. When this truck originally came out back in late 1999, early 2000, yes, that is how old this truck is. When I ordered this truck, I had a 6-month wait before it actually showed up. I was one of the first people to get it, and I believe I was actually the first person in northeastern California to get one of these trucks. I believe. So if somebody else knows otherwise, let me know. But anyways, in the Gen 1, there was no bulkhead support in here. You can see the RPM sticker. This piece was not in existence in the original Gen 1 trucks. This is an aftermarket upgrade that I put onto it because I actually snapped this piece, this area right in here where the bumper mounts on. I snapped that several times, and I've had to replace the bulkheads because of that. And so with these braces in here, it eliminated that breakage, and I have not had one break since I put that in there. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's also one on the back here as well. Get my finger underneath there. And it just ties it together so it strengthens it and doesn't let it flex as much, and I haven't had any breakage from those since then. The newer ones come from Traxxas with a brace in there already, so you don't have to worry about that so much anymore. Let's see. Replace the body posts. Maxxas tend to chew body posts up pretty quick. I do run 20% nitro fuel in here. I used to run Byron race fuel, and they've become really hard for me to be able to find, and so I have used O'Donnell race fuel. I've used Traxxas race fuel a little bit. My next fuel that I get here soon is actually going to be VP racing fuel. I know they do actual real car race fuel, and so I figure they ought to be pretty good and experienced with making race fuel in general. So anyways, this has been a look under the hood of my Gen 1 Traxxas T-Maxx with some updates and modernizations done to it. So hope you guys liked it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time, which, by the way, next under the hood will be the Bat Revo. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.